There's a very specific structure behind having a business generating $30,000 a month, especially a spiritual business generating $30,000 a month. And once you're able to understand the four pillars that allows you to build that type of business, you're not going to be able to unsee what's been missing in your business. Why is it that you are not hitting those numbers? So if you're not making $30,000 a month in your business, grab a notepad because I'm going to unpack today the energetic empires framework that I've built for my own body of work, but I can apply to any spiritual business. Because let's be honest, being gifted is not enough to build an empire. And if you do not know me, pleased to meet you. My name is Ducharme. I'm a mentor for people who have had spiritual awakenings and that are building businesses connected to their purposes. And if you've had a spiritual awakening, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I'm saying that there's a before and after. There is a moment after having the void time and after searching for meaning into your life where you cannot go back to making money just for the sake of making money, working just for the sake of paying bills. There's something bigger that happens into you, and more people are awakening. More and more people are in need of the framework that I've built for the Energetic Empires, which is my membership mastermind. But like I'm saying, everything that I've built can apply to any business, whether you're in my world or not. So today I'm going to explain to you what are the pillars that are required in order to be successful into your online business. There's four pillars. There's a cash flow pillar, there's the CEO pillar, there's a brand DNA pillar, and then there's an influence pillar, because these are four things that are extremely important when we want to build a business that generates income, that fulfills impact, that creates visibility, that helps you have more influence, but that also makes you work on your rich and feminine identity. So I'm going to go deep into each of those pillars today, but there's also something else. If you have not watched my course called Trinity, it's completely free. And that course is about the archetype of my body of work. So today I'm talking about the pillars of my framework, but there's also the identities that are required to work on in order to build these things. There's a difference between your business and which is assets, and then your identity, which is you. The archetypes are the identities. So in the archetypes of my energetic empires, we have the spiritual CEO, which is the person that executes the vision. There is the spiritual leader, which is the person that walks and that goes first. And then there's the spiritual creator, which is the person that's creating from their gift. So if you have not watched this, I'm going to link the free course at Trinity for you to watch. I think you should. There's also something coming into my brand. If you're watching this on before April 13, we're going to be doing the Rich and Feminine Rebirth Challenge. So I will tell you all about it towards the end of the video. So for now, let's get started with the pillar one. All right, pillar one, cash flow. I'm starting with the pillar one because I think it's important to first clean house when it comes to money. Because one thing that I notice the most online, there is this scarcity into the spiritual world of people are ashamed of charging their worth. They are criticizing who is making a lot of money, saying that it's not spiritual. And it's actually so untrue. And I want us to talk about that before I explain what is it that you need to have in place into your business in order to have the cash flow, because your business is not going to be impactful if it cannot sustain you. You're not going to have an impact if energetically you feel uncomfortable with the currency of money. And a lot of time, that's what happens. The people that are doing work that feels so good and they're so good at what they do, they are so impactful, become very financially unstable and have a hard time creating more of what they're doing because their resources are not there. And they're going to justify it by they're being ethical, or that's just spiritual, like my currency is spiritual, so I exchange energy. But it's actually selfish when we're allowing ourselves to feel like money is not necessary and we're feeling uncomfortable receiving the currency of money. It's actually selfish. The reason why I believe that is because have you ever been able to help people in poverty without money? No. That's something that is very obvious. If I don't have enough for me, I cannot give more for you. And a lot of time what I hear is people are saying, I have everything I need. I don't need money. I don't need more money. I don't need $1 million a year. I don't need $30,000 a month. That's not about need though. Because of the money that I create, because of the money that I've generated in the last years doing work as an entrepreneur, I was able to really make an impact with not just my gifts, not just my spiritual powers, I would say, not just with my energy, but also because with my money, I can actually make a difference when there's someone or more people, like a collective, that's in need. And if I'm barely getting by, I cannot give you more. This is something we have to unlock. I created a also free training inside of my also free membership. If you're in my world, there's so many resources that will help you grow into the woman that you want to be and build your business to the level that you want to build it on. So in my free Too Good to Be True membership, there's a training that's called the Miracle Strove, which I highly, highly, highly recommend if you are feeling kind of uncomfortable around money. There's something that feels like you don't want to give because you kind of want to hoard it, or you're feeling uncomfortable receiving unless that's what you need. So I highly recommend going to listen to my Miracles Trove training. But let's talk about the signs that you're not aligned with your cash flow, okay? If I see that you're undercharging or you're not sure how to charge, like how much to charge, it's a sign that there's misalignment. Energetically, you're not behind your prices. And that creates energetic dissonance. It makes people not want to join your world, not want to hire you for the services you're selling because there's something that feels like it's not clear, it's not grounded, there's no conviction. Another way that you can see that your cash flow is not aligned is when you're relying on launches and on selling to make money, and money is not coming from multiple sources at multiple times. So for me in my business, I make money from many, many different days. Some days I will have 7 different ways that I make money in one day without even working. And this has been something that I've put in place a long time ago and I've been working on a long time ago. And when we start by doing that long-term work, eventually we start collecting. If you're not taking time to build the future cash flow into your business, you're only focusing on the next launch or the current launches, you're never going to make money for tomorrow. It's always going to be something that you have to do over and over again. Another sign where you may not feel aligned with your cash flow is when you don't have recurring revenue that's coming. You don't have predictable income. You don't have money coming from payment plans or from subscriptions, for example. And then another last sign is that you are uncomfortable selling. You're uncomfortable talking about your offers. You're uncomfortable making posts that are explaining what you do. You're uncomfortable with doing call to actions into your content. You're afraid that you're gonna like look salesy, you're gonna be too much. People are gonna think you're only about the money. So you feel uncomfortable around that. If your work changes life, we need to work on you feeling aligned with your cash flow. You need to make money. You need to be able to scale. You need to be able to put money into teamwork, into softwares, into marketing, into ways that is going to grow your message. Otherwise, you're only going to be able to impact as much as your energy allows you to impact today. And every day you're going to have to start everything over. It's not sustainable. So what you have to do in the cash flow pillar, first of all, we have to build monthly recurring revenue. This is one of the most important things. If you're starting every month at 0, you are 1 month away from being in the red. You are 1 month away from being sick and not being able to make money, or something happening, not having access to how you normally make money, and then the money stops coming. So in order to build that monthly recurring revenue, we call this MRR, you have to have things in place that either through subscriptions, either through memberships, either through retainers, either through payment plans, is going to come every month, no matter what. And that allows you to kind of know, like, at least, like, let's say I need to make $5,000 to pay my bills, and then $10,000 to pay all of my living expenses and my business expenses. Then if my monthly recurring revenue is $10,000 a month, then I know that every month Every dollar that I make on top of my monthly recurring revenue is money that's completely for me in my pocket that is not going to go towards bills or anything. That's a pretty fun way to start your month. That's a pretty exciting way to start selling because you're like, I know my bills are already covered. So if I have a really good launch this month, or if I have a perfect painful client this month, everything comes in my pocket. It doesn't go towards my monthly recurring expenses. So that is something that is important. Now, once we figure out the monthly recurring revenue, which is the first thing, we are going to had cash injections. This is what I'm going to be teaching inside of the Rich and Feminine Rebirth. I'm going to help you build a cash injection to align that's going to be aligned with your current awakening, the current phases of your spiritual awakening, so that you can completely connect the void wherever you've been into who you're becoming and make money immediately from who you are today. But knowing how to do cash injections, and the reason why I teach them often, because this is something I want all of my clients to know about. I want them to be able to make money on the go. I want them to be able to wake up tomorrow and be able to make money with something that they thought about in their dreams. I want them to be able to know what type of content creates cash injections, to know what type of offers and what type of messaging is needed to do cash injections, and what type of positioning is needed with cash injections. So once we figure out the monthly recurring revenue, we figure out how to create cash injections on top of that. Then you have to find out how are you going to be launching. What type of product suite do you want? Do you want something that has a customer journey that goes from beginning level into going up and up and up? Or do you want the type of cash inject product suite that is going to be an ecosystem of multiple things together, a little world? Like for me, I prefer having a little world of different things instead of having different level of like different pricing tiers. I prefer having multiple little things that she can join my world in, and then it creates a whole, because the more you join the little things, the more you own my product suite. And then we also have to normalize selling. Selling needs to be something that we fall in love with. We need to love selling. We need to love showing up for business. We need to show up with as much passion for what we're selling as passion for who we are and what we do and the clients we have. If there's a mismatch, it's going to be felt, and people are going to wonder, why are you not excited about what you're selling? So this is important, and this is for the first pillar, the pillar one of cash flow. So now we're going to go inside pillar two. The pillar two is the CEO pillar. And this is one of the biggest missing thing inside of spiritual entrepreneurship. The CEO has never been hired. It's not there to execute the vision. And some of the signs that the CEO is not in your business is you're making decisions emotionally that are maybe either illogical or impulsive, not emotionally in a way that it's important to stay connected to our emotions. But if we're making decisions emotionally, depending on how we're feeling today, or when we're feeling anxious or overwhelmed or worried, and that's where we're making decisions for the future of our business, and then it's not the CEO that makes the decisions, it's actually our human, and we're gonna change. We need to have this identity inside of our business of I am in charge. I'm not just a healer. I'm not just a coach. I'm not just intuitive. I'm not just a psychic. I am in charge. I'm the container that my clients enter. I'm the strategist that plans for the business, the offers, the launches. I'm the person that leads the team, the employees, the team member, the clients. I'm the decision maker. I'm the person that has a vision and that makes a plan on how to get there. So if you're someone that avoids structure, if you're someone that resists having system, your business is all over the place. If you would hire someone new tomorrow, you'd be like, I don't know how to help you. I don't know how to help you understand my business because my phone is full of notes, my photos are full of screenshots, my computer is full of documents. It's all over the place. I have no idea what I'm doing. I cannot help you. Like if that's you, you need to work on your CEO. If you're doing everything yourself, most probably because it's just more simple because you understand your chaos and it would be too complicated to teach it to someone else. Probably a sign that you need to work on your CEO. If you're trying to scale your business or to hit a bigger amount of money per month, only with your intuition, but you're not doing it in a way where you are taking time to channel what your guides are telling you and what your intuition is guiding you towards, and then be like, okay, this is how we're going to execute. If you're not taking time to do that, if you're not taking time of planning out development phases, if you're not having someone on board into your team that's going to be more of the execution role to replace that because you don't want to be that person, then we need to work on your CEO. If you don't have high standards into your customer experience, you don't there's no thought into how you want your clients to feel, how you want your audience to feel, how do you want the sales process to feel like, how do you want the buying experience to feel like, then the CEO also has not shown to work. And one of the questions I normally ask my clients is, if you would have hired yourself, would you be still your employee? Like, would you fire yourself if you were an employee on the payroll and you have a certain amount of tasks to deliver on, you have a role? Are you gonna be like, you deserve a raise, or are you gonna be like, you're fired? And a lot of time my clients say, actually, I would fire myself because I'm not taking the role seriously. I'm not showing up in my business like a CEO. And then I'll wonder why I don't have the results of a real business. Well, maybe because the CEO energy is not there. There's no clarity. There's no decisions made. There's no leadership. There's no standard. So one thing that's really important is you need to know what your vision is. You need to know, how are you going to create a $30,000 a month business model? What offers are going to take you there? What delivery structure is going to feel aligned for you inside of those offers? What automations do you need to set in place in order to save time and energy? What system needs to be in place in order to save time and energy? How can you lead your business like it's something that is meant to last? This is important. When we are working on our business, we need to be working on the CEO. This is the second pillar, and this is the one that I see the most often not being hired in the company. The third pillar is the brand DNA pillar, and this is the part that keeps you being the best kept secret and keeps you thinking it's because of the algorithm. People are not seeing me because of the algorithm. Do you have an email list? Because you don't need an algorithm in an email list. Do you have an ecosystem into your content? Do you have SEO friendly content? Do you have page with very specific marketing and very tangible transformation? Are people actually understanding what you sell, or do they need to buy it before they understand in order to know what it is? A lot of times that's what I see. People are trying to sell something. Their messaging is so vague. Their content is inconsistent. Their brand is a little bit fluffy. They speak in spiritual language in their content, and people don't understand what they're talking about. It's not tangible. They're trying to please everyone. They're trying to be feeling good. And because of that, they're not really talking to anyone. They're not expressing their true self. They're not expressing their power. They're not owning their gifts. They're not understanding that the client journey will start the moment they start reading your content, and that's when they start experiencing you. So if I'm reading your content, I have no idea what exactly you do, how you do it, what you can help me, what's going to happen, why is this something that I should consider, then I don't know if I should hire you. And this is the things that we have to work on. And the third pillar, the brand DNA, is who you are. What is making you someone to trust, someone that's gifted, someone that I should be interested working with? What exactly do you do? What type of modality? How do they work? What outcome will happen from that modality? Why does it matter to me? Why will this work if I've tried in the past different modality, different people, and it hasn't worked? What is different? What problem do I have that actually you can fix that I haven't fixed in other attempts? Who do you serve specifically? What are the tangible ways that you're helping them? And don't tell me, I'm gonna help you feel better. I'm gonna help you feel aligned. I'm gonna help you feel unstuck. This means nothing. We have to be more tangible. We have to have different type of content that makes people buy, content that makes people understand our stories, that content that makes people understand our different type of offerings, content that makes people see what their problem is, why they don't have that transformation, why they should want that transformation, content that makes people understand what our processes are like, how, like what to expect. We have to work on our brand, telling people what is it that we do in a way that they don't have to experience it in order to understand it. And that is the biggest thing in the spiritual entrepreneur industries is they have not understood how to make the untangible tangible. This is one of the things I cover the most inside of Energetic Empires. I have multiple courses on that because that is the thing that is number one. When I read the content of a client, when I go through and I audit their pages and they're spiritual entrepreneurs, and 90% of the time, I don't know what they do. It's beautiful. It's very poetic. They seem like very amazing people, but I have no idea what they do because they don't know how to say it in a way that's easy to understand for their ideal clients. So that is a third pillar that is important to work on. If you're not nailing your messaging, forget about $30,000 a month. It's almost impossible unless you have built a business completely offline and word to mouth, and you don't need content. So why are you watching this? Go do what you're doing. You don't need me. Pillar four. The pillar four is the influence pillar. And this is the one most people will not reach because they need to figure out the first three pillars before they can get into the influence pillar. The influence pillar is when you start having opportunities that are growing your brand massively, when you start growing on social media in like really big numbers, when you start speaking on stages, when you start having a content ecosystem, when you start having people quoting you, having people write articles about you. This is really when the momentum picks up. And a lot of time people are not going to get there because unless they figure out the first three pillars, they will not blow up. So the people that are in the influence pillar and that are able to implement the strategies that I teach there are the people that most people know because they're everywhere. They have written best-selling books. It didn't happen overnight, but they were able to reach the point where the influence can grow. It's not just about them doing their work. It's not just about an exchange of service. It's not just about being embodied in their work. Now it's about impacting the collective. Now it's about having their work and their legacy be built in a way that it's going to outlive them. And that is something that I'm really passionate about. Not a lot of people reach to that point. And if you are in that point, that's when you're going to want to start do collaborations, podcast interviews, guest podcasts, podcast campaigns, partnerships, merch, or even product-based adding. Like that's when you're adding divisions to your business. Sometimes it's going to be product, sometimes it's going to be different modalities, sometimes it's going to be to turn your work into certifications. That sometimes it's going to be to build funnels. Sometimes it's going to be to have a bigger focus into your content because once you're really set and you don't really need to make these efforts that the first three pillars require anymore because you're making money and it's just very stable and things are like ready to scale. That's when you can have more fun. That's when you can try new things. That's when you can experiment a little bit more. So this is a really fun place to be. If you feel like you would love your business to be strengthened. Maybe there's a few things that I talked about that you're like, you know what, I think I should be working on that. This resonates with me. I have the Energetic Empires, which is a 3 months minimum membership in which I do mastermind. So it's an easier way to access mastermind. I also take private clients. If you would like to apply, you can message me directly on Facebook or on Instagram, and I can see if I could be the right person to help you and what we could work on together. And also I have the amazing Rich and Feminine Rebirth that starts on April 13. If you're watching this before April 13, I'm gonna I'm gonna help you do multiple things inside of the Rich and Feminine Rebirth Challenge. This is also gonna be available after as a standalone program. So you can, if you're watching this too late, you're still gonna get a chance of purchasing it if you desire. But this is where I'm gonna first help people get really clear into where are they on in the spiritual awakening, which spiritual awakening they're on, which phase are they in the void? Is this about the identity that are they ready for the next step of their mission, but they just haven't gotten clarity? And then we are going to build on that. So it's going to be a month-long challenge in which we are going to audit your business, audit your content, your offers, make the changes necessary for you to have everything that you're excited about, like removing what no longer fits with your current self, and really make sure that your offers and your business is focused on who you're becoming. And through that challenge, we're going to do a cash injection. So I do these cash injection every couple of years. Last time I did it, we did it was called 10 days to 10K, and people made $20,000, $30,000 during the 10 days. So we're gonna do an attempt of making that happen again. And this time it's going to be focused with what you've downloaded during the Rich and Feminine Rebirth. So the offer that you're gonna be creating for the cash injection is kind of gonna be your coming out of the closet with your new identity. It's gonna be like, I've anchored myself in this is my mission, this is who I want to talk to, this is what I want to be known for, this is what's next, this is my pivot, and this is my first offer. And you get a chance to try it while I'm declaring with conviction that I am the person that is going to be building a life and an impact around that thing. So if you would like more information, I will drop the link as well. If you have any questions, you can send me a message. And if that's it for now, I hope today was helpful. And I really, truly hope there's one thing at least that you thought, I have to go work on that. Like, I'm not working on that. Let's go. Let's go work on that. And let me know once you see results. I would love to celebrate with you. Have a good day.